You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Fraternity Podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me. Today is December 19, 2020. This freaking year is almost over, ¿verdad, cabrón?
Yeah, man. I can't believe how fast it went.
Yeah, this year is ridiculous, man. And this is coming to an end. So today on my podcast, I have a buddy of mine. Well, yeah, buddy, that we're going to catch up for the first time in many years. I met this guy while I was doing some volunteer work back in 2010, end of 2010, maybe 2011, the beginning of 2011. His name is Andres. Andres, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man. How's it going? Thank you for having me.
No problem, but I just I recorded an episode last week, and when I was talking, when I was telling my story, it reminded me that there is another chapter, obviously, and anybody that's been a part of my life is technically, anybody that I bumped into in life is technically part of my life, if that makes sense. So I thought, while I was recording the last episode, I was like, wait a minute, I can bring Andres in because I met him while trying to get my life back together. So I met Andres while I decided to start working. Well, it wasn't working. It was more, was it like, it wasn't community service, right? Was it community service or was it volunteer?
Well, for me, I wish I could say it was volunteer, but I had to do community service to the DUI that I got.
Okay. So I think, because what happened was, what happened was I ended up, once I started collecting food stamps, I decided to, I was classified under low income, obviously, and since I was homeless, I was able to qualify for this homeless court. So homeless court is pretty much, they'll put you to work to make up for whatever traffic tickets you owe or anything in the system that's qualified to be paid off with, community service. And so they pretty much told me, okay, you have these many hours to complete so you can pay off like a couple of tickets. I think one ticket was because I didn't stop at a stop while the bus had the stop sign up. And so I think it was one of those, and I don't remember the other ones, but I had to pay those off, obviously, if I want to get my life back and pretty much get my driver's license back. So again, I went to this homeless court and they said, yes, you qualify. So here's how many hours you have to complete and they will pay off these few tickets. All right, cool. So I started working at the one of the secondhand stores in La Colonia, one of the rescue missions called the Rescue Mission. And I was like the happiest person alive, bro. I technically had a job again. I wasn't getting paid money or a paycheck, but it was going towards my tickets. So I was the happiest person alive, dude. I was working. I was doing my 8 hours. I was pretty much on top of my shit, where the manager there was kind of like had me as his like right hand. Hey, today I need you to do this, and today I need you to do that, and can you organize this section? And I was just like, again, to me, I wasn't getting a paycheck, but I was back on the working buzz. I was working. I wasn't at home. It felt great. And then one of those weeks that I was there, I actually met you. You pulled up because like you said, you had a ticket you had to pay off because you had a DUI.
Actually, not. I think the DUI was later on. I think I had community service because I got caught trespassing on the railroad bridge that goes over the 101 freeway in Ventura. And, so I didn't want to pay. I mean, I wasn't making a lot of money or whatever. So I told the judge if I could do community service, and thankfully they said yes. I mean.
No, and that's like I said, I got to meet you there and freaking at the rescue mission, and we were just knocking shit out, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't like I said, it was fun. I mean, not like fun, but I mean, like it was. I look back to those days and I can say that those were good times. Everything considered.
I mean, considered to where like I've been to where I am now, it's like, yeah. I mean, you look back at that and it's like a learning. It's a learning experience, man. I did the rescue mission for a little bit, and then I was able to knock out some more hours by going to the Salvation Army and doing the bell ringing thing. And I mean, out here in La Puente, I don't see that. They don't really have the Salvation Army kiddos at the stores ringing the little bell. I don't even see Girl Scout cookies out here, dude. And that's how ghetto it is. Now, that's how kind of dangerous it is out here. People don't even, they don't, the Christmas kettles I don't see them out here. So out there in Oxnard, it was like you stand at a store and you ring a bell for however many hours, and then people just donated money for the Salvation Army. And for those of you the guys that follow football, you guys see the kettles at certain football game. Didn't Ezekiel Elliott jump in one of them? He got fined for that.
Yeah, but I think he gave it to the Salvation Army.
Yeah, he gave himself to the Salvation Army and ended up getting fined. So I did that for about a week, where I just went to go ring the little bell, and it got me a couple hours to my community service, because then I ended up going back. I was going back and forth. I mean, to me, it was working, dude. I was loving it. So, but sometimes I did the Salvation Army. Sometimes I went back to the rescue mission. And so after it was all said and done, and I was done with the hours that I was supposed to do, I actually kept on working. After I hit the goal, I just kept on working. And I just like, hey, you're done. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to go home. I mean, I don't want to, this is more, instead of being at my friend's kitchen floor, freaking walking the streets, I'd rather be here and just, they're like, all right, I mean, if you want to, I mean, free labor, why not? Okay, cool. And I just kept on working, and I think I ended up doing like an extra 80 hours of free labor.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I didn't work for 2.5 years. I was loving it. I think altogether,
I get you.
I think altogether it was like maybe four months of volunteering and community service, whatever you want to call it. And I ended up going to court. I remember the court, because homeless court is not at the courthouse in Ventura. It's wherever they can set up. And I think this one was at the Salvation Army in Ventura, so over there by the Avenue. And I ended up going over there to court, and it was my turn. And again, I think I had like 3 tickets, and I was only going to be able to pay off 2 of those. And I think the other one, I don't know why one of them didn't count. I just know that the labor that I did was to pay off 2 of the tickets. So It was my turn to speak, and the judge was, Mr. Martinez, and I get up, yes, ma'am. And then she's looking at my record, and she's looking at the hours, and she says, and this is a beautiful thing that she says, that I think she cleared all 3 tickets because I did the extra 80 hours of work for free. She tells me, because of people like you is the reason why we have programs like this. And wow. Yeah, because I ended up knocking out an extra 80 hours of free work. So she said, again, because of people like you is why we have this program open. No joke. She obviously she dismissed me and whatever. This was like I said, I think this was in the beginning of 2011, and then the end of 2011 when I finally started working, and when I think maybe the early 2012, right before I bought the little Honda Civic, it was about maybe beginning of 2012 where I went to the DMV and to go get my license back, and they pretty much told me I had not one ticket on file. So
there you go. We
go from bad karma to good karma. The judge pretty much wiped my record clean.
Wow, man.
So it felt good when I went to the DMV and went back to, I think I went to the courts and say, hey, I need to pay off some tickets or whatever. They're like, no, the only thing we have on file is obviously your criminal case, and you can't do for the criminal case, you can't do community service for those. Those obviously you have to pay cash. Okay, cool. But you have no tickets on your record. After the DMV told me that, I went to the courthouse. The courthouse said the same thing. I was like, this judge wiped my driving record clean.
Wow, man.
So that
your insurance company was loving that.
Right? Right? So yeah, man, like I last episode I talked about bad karma, and karma just beating me down because I obviously did some shady shit. But after you dust yourself off and you get back up and you start going, you just freaking, you start getting good karma, dude. And like I said, I'll always remember what that judge said, and because of people like you. And I do believe in good karma, dude. I do believe in paying it forward. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, this guy comes up to me, and Puente, you see it all the time. People come up to you and they're going to ask you for change or whatever. And this guy came up to me. He's like, no, I'm not going to ask you for change. I'm like, what's going on, buddy? He's like, well, I just missed my bus. And I don't know, I'm like, dude, I'm on the clock, and I can't drive you 20 minutes away from here to drive back 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes that I'm going to lose. And I don't want to get, I don't want to get in trouble or fired. And then he was like, well, dude, I don't have Uber on my phone. And so I downloaded Uber and I called him an Uber.
You made a profile and everything?
Yeah, I made a profile and everything. Now I'm getting emails. Hey man, your first ride was this and you're blah, blah, blah. So I paid the man's Uber. Well, he technically gave me cash, but it wasn't enough. So I paid the rest, and then I even threw in a tip for the driver. And I came home and I told my kids, yeah, I did a good deed, and blah, blah, blah. They're like, that wasn't a good deed. I'm like, what? They're like, Dad, he technically paid you for his drive. I'm like, not the whole thing. I even gave the lady a tip. No, my kids can be smart asses, dude. So there, I felt good. I felt good. I felt I did good. I did, got this guy an Uber. About a week later, I was, getting ready to clock in, and I see this guy walking with this 5-gallon jug of water, and he's struggling to carry it, and I think at one point, well, no, not I think, I physically saw him at one point was a little too tired of carrying it, that he ends up setting it down on the ground, but he set it down on the ground a little too hard that it cracked. So his water just went everywhere. And this is like, we're talking 5:40, 5:50 in the morning. So it's still dark. And
right.
I'm like, and you can tell he's a homeless guy, and he's pacing back and forth, and you can tell he's kind of shitting bricks, and he's like frustrated, and he's like, he comes up to my car, and I'm like, oh great, I need to clock in and go. I don't want this weirdo. And obviously, don't judge a book by its cover. And so he approaches the car. I roll my window down. What's going on, buddy? How can I help you? He goes, I just spilled all my water. I know I saw that. I kind of feel bad for that. That sucks. I'm sorry. He's like, you don't happen to have any change on, buddy? I don't carry change. And I pulled out my wallet and showed him I had no cash in there. I don't carry change. And he goes, I was going to boil that water. I just needed warm water. And obviously that told me that he was homeless, because he wanted to boil that water. Because he was, I don't know, he was carrying it. I don't. At 5 in the morning, bro, at 5:30, 5:40 in the morning, he looked homeless. So he was like, "Do you have any change?" I'm like, "Again, I don't have any change." He goes, "What about a lighter?" I'm like, "Sorry, but I don't smoke." And that's when he told me he was going to use a lighter, obviously, to somehow start a fire to warm up that water. So I was like, "Yeah, I don't smoke, buddy. I'm sorry, but just give me 1 minute. Stay right here." I finished clocking in. I drove to the nearest gasoline station, which was down the street, was like 2 blocks over. I bought 3 lighters. I drove back and I told the guy, "Here, buddy, here's your lighter." And he was like so happy and shit. I told a friend of mine about the lighter store, and he was like, "Dude, you better hope there's not a fucking fire nearby and shit. Like, that's going to be all your fault." No. Well, luckily no fires were reported nearby, so I'm not tripping. But yeah, dude, I feel like good karma has done well for me, has taken care of me. And we go back to learning from your mistakes. Now now we can start talking about you. You mentioned a DUI, but obviously we can, if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. But what I've seen lately is that you're making music videos, right?
Right.
So how do you go from a guy that's freaking volunteering work at a rescue mission to what he's doing now?
Well, like I said, I had to do the community service because I got a ticket trespassing on the I guess it's a bridge, the train bridge, the railroad bridge. I don't know what you call it, over by Main Street. So
The one over there by
I
in Main Street in Ventura, over there, like towards the beach.
Yeah, it's like a nice. The train goes over the 101 freeway.
Yeah,
It's still on the Main Street exit, I think.
yeah. Yeah, I know which one. I think the bars are green, right? Or the train. Yeah, I know exactly which one you are. Where you're at.
Yeah, it's like a silver one.
Yeah, I think
guess,
I think I know which one you're talking. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, so the cop came up, and the first one was being pretty cool. It seemed like he just wanted to give us a warning, and then his backup rolled up, and she was a female cop. I don't know if it had anything to do with it. Maybe she was like trying to prove something or whatever, but she was being like a hard ass. And she's like, "No, you can't let him go with a warning. What kind of shit is that?" Da, 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 da. And she just like straight up gave us a ticket. And I'm like, "Oh man."
Damn.
So I remember
That time of the month, huh?
my butt. Yeah, man.
Oops.
So I had to go to court, and I went the first day. It's funny because me and the artist both got a ticket, so we both went to court, and it was one of those where like we were there at 8 in the morning. It was like 2 p.m. and they still haven't called our names, so we had to go the next day. And
Don't you just love those?
Yeah, man. We had to go the next day, and then I think I overslept. And then my buddy ended up going, and he said that they put a warrant out for my arrest.
No way.
Yeah, so long story short, I ended up going to court, and then the judge gave me a pretty big fine, but I told him I couldn't pay it, so he said I had to do a community service.
And that's where we met.
Yeah, man.
So how do you go from crossing bridges to what you do now, man?
So I mean, I've always wanted to direct music videos and stuff since I was a kid, or like I always wanted to make movies since I was a kid. I would always watch a movie, and then rather than get lost in the story, I would think about like, wait, how are they making it, or like stuff like that. I would read books, and the words would form a picture in my mind. Well, I'm pretty sure that happens with everybody, but like I was so focused on that picture and trying to make it a reality that was always like my main focus for some reason. I like telling stories of like my family, their struggles, the adversities that they overcame, and then so being a first generation Mexican American, my parents honestly thought that was like a waste of time, or they didn't see any security in that. But I always believed in myself, and so I bought my camera and then just started making little music videos here and there. Even like I never had the biggest budgets, but I always try to make my music videos look as good as they can. So we decided to go to the bridge that one day, and then ended up catching a ticket.
Oh, so you were already doing this from back then?
Yeah, I've been doing this since like, I think by the time I bought my camera, by the time I got caught, I think it was already like 6 months.
Okay, so
into it.
Okay.
So that's when I bought my equipment. But I mean, I've always like what do you call it? I would always just like try to like accumulate any information that'll I guess help me in the future whenever I did buy my first camera.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so once I had it, I was just ready to rock and roll. I just wanted to go anywhere and shoot, film anything, and then unfortunately they got me in trouble.
But look where you are now, man. Didn't you just get nominated for an award recently?
Yeah, and I think we were trespassing on some of those scenes too. So I mean, just don't tell nobody.
Dude, obviously my I want to say my 28 subscribers on YouTube ain't gonna tell no one.
Sure. Nah, I hope not.
Oh man.
But I mean, you just gotta do what you gotta do, man. And even though I got the ticket, I mean, of course, I wasn't happy about it, but the fact that I was able to pay it off doing community service was kind of like a blessing.
Yeah.
And and it's just like never let anything bring you down. I mean, whatever. I wasn't there for fun, but I made it fun. I mean, I like to go anywhere and just just have a good time. There's no sense in being down about the whole situation, which was like, I remember when I met you. That's the first thing that popped into my mind was the fact that I remember you told me you were going through some struggles, whatever you're going through with the homeless court. But you were always I never seen you down. I never seen you mad. You were always optimistic. Bright, like 6 a.m. you're right there ready to go.
Yo, that
So I was like, man,
that hasn't changed, bro. That hasn't changed, man. I still wake up like at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning, dude.
yeah, man. I remember like I would go in like the first hour was always like the wackest one.
Yep.
Like you just woke up and stuff, but you'd be right there all smiling and happy, and I'm like, oh man, well, the homie's up. I gotta get up. So,
And that was before I discovered coffee, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't drink coffee
Yeah,
back
man.
then.
Oh, you never drank coffee?
No, back then, no, I didn't drink coffee back then.
I know, man. I was like, man, this guy's up and at it.
Yeah, I freaking I got a merchandiser out here that calls me Sunshine because she always sees me in a good mood, and then I got a couple guys would call me freaking Chuckles. Just those. It's funny that you go from a junior high and getting bullied and being called names and nicknames that weren't very nice to positive nicknames now like Chuckles and Sunshine.
Yeah.
There we go back to the positive karma, man.
Yeah, man. I think what's it called for you, the fact that you were never there in a bad mood, or you never placed your blame on others or society. You just paying off what you felt you needed to pay off, and then but like I said, you were always happy and stuff. So like
I actually go ahead.
I'm saying if you do stuff with a good heart, then that karma is gonna bless you, But it's like if you were to go in there and you're expecting karma, or like, I mean, I don't feel like that's how karma works, It's like karma has to be true and genuine. So if you're not really doing something good out of the good of your heart, you're just doing it so you can I guess build your karma bank or whatever. I think that's how it works. So I mean, I think that's why you
go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm saying I think that's how that's why God has blessed you, because you did it out of the good of your heart.
When I was, like you said, like you never take everything negative. You never I didn't, like you said, I wasn't holding a grudge on society, and I wasn't mad at the world. When I was in jail, obviously I didn't really get into too details about jail and stuff, but I was looking at prison time because there was a accusation made that I threatened to kill somebody, obviously, so when you're in jail and you don't know your future, you're shitting bricks. When you don't know what future holds for you, and either you're going to go to prison, you can possibly go to prison. It's like you're in there, obviously the 4 months that I was in there, it was just nothing but stressing out, and multiple times, where I freaking cried on my bunk, and it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. But the moment they tell you you're going to go home in a month, it's like, oh shit, because I was obviously fighting a domestic violence, and I was trying to, say that, no, I didn't do it. No, I was trying to get away with it. And by pretty much not owning up to my shit, the night before I went to court, I was reading the Bible, and that's a lot. I did a lot of Bible reading while I was in jail, and I came across one of the phrases that said, the truth shall set you free, and I always heard that from the movie Liar Liar. I love that movie. I love that movie. But when I physically read it myself, and I took it to court with me that day, because my public defender came up to me and said, okay, what are we gonna do? And I just said, okay. I did. I hit her. I hit her with my arm. I'll own up to it. Whatever the judge wants to do with me, I'll take responsibility for my actions. And this is back in '06, bro. This is back in '06. And that's when they tell me, okay, time served. Well, you owe us pretty much one more month, and then after a month, you're good to go. And again, that was based on the quote from the Bible that I read the night before.
Wow.
So it's just, like you said earlier, I didn't blame the world. I come up to the fact that I owned up to my shit, and I do. And to this day, I mean, I have conversations about jail, and it's like, I make a joke about it because it was a part of my life. Jail was a part of my life, and I feel the jail made me a little who I am today. Because, I just, I don't know, man. I don't know where I'd be without jail. I mean, I met my best friend in there. It's like, who meets their best friend in jail?
That's weird.
And so, I met my best friend in jail, and freaking, I just, like I said, I don't think if it wasn't for jail, dude, I don't think I would have fucking snapped out of it because, I ended up, I mentioned that I got pulled over driving without a license, and because I was on probation still, they actually violated me for that, and they gave me another 35 days in jail. But by then, because I knew that I was going to go home in 35 days, well, actually they said 90 days, and I'm like, I'll do 35 because now I knew how the jail system worked, right? So 90 days, I'll do 35. No joke, on the 35th day, I was out. So, but those, again, those 35 days were pretty chill. But the one thing I did was miss my kids like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've never, knock on wood, but I haven't stepped foot in the jail since then. I think the last time I stepped foot in the jail was like, I even lost my job again because I was already kind of working, and like, because it was hard. Once I got convicted, it was hard to find a job. Once they stamp you with that conviction, it's hard to find a job. So I finally, get some temp work and here and there, and I'm working at this winery, and I lose that because I was driving without a license, and okay, time comes because the one job went to, no, you know what, I made it. I'm messing up my timeline there, but no, I did lose because I think I did postpone the time to turn myself in multiple times, and then the judge is like, okay, enough's enough, bro. You got to give us your time. I'm like, man. So yeah, that's why I'm getting my timeline confused. And then after that time that I had to go turn myself in, once I got released from that, then that's it. That's when I couldn't find a job for shit, man. That's when I didn't work for like 2.5 years. But yeah, dude, it wasn't fun. Like I said, I missed my kids like there's no tomorrow, and then that made me like, okay, I'm never stepping foot in there again. And just go forward after that. Now, obviously,
Yeah, man.
after no work for 2.5 years and shit, you get depressed after, and that's when everything else starts off again. But yeah, dude, it's I feel like when you do good things, and you're gonna get rewarded with good things.
Yeah, most definitely.
So you, like I said, I met you while you were doing also community service, and now you have so what ended up happening is, when it was nominated for what award show, or what award?
So last year, I got asked to go do photography for the Ventura County Music Awards, and I was like, sure, I'll go do it. And then ended up meeting my old high school buddy, Joe Henry. And he ended up winning, I believe, was it like best male artist last year or whatever. And then me and him, we had already we're supposed to do a music video the year before, but stuff fell through. And then so when we met up again, he hit me up and he's like, hey, well, I got this song, I still want to shoot the music video for it. And I felt like that year in between, probably helped both of us, because I guess he revised the song, and then I ended up picking up, developing my directing skills a little bit more. So I had taken a year off from making videos and stuff because, like I said earlier, my original goal since I was a kid, was to be a film director, to make movies by this point. by the time I got my camera and everything, I'd be like 7 or 8 years in. I felt like I had lost my drive, so I needed to like step away from it from a little bit. So by the time I came back, around the time they asked me to do the photography for the music, Ventura Music Awards, that's when I started to like get back into the whole scene again. And then, yeah, we ended up doing the music video. I think I don't know if I was nominated by accident because I guess I think only the artists are supposed to get the nomination for best music video, and then somehow I think people were throwing my name in there. They thought that I was the artist, but I mean, shit, I'll take it. Okay,
Take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. So I mean, I was nominated, so I mean, it was kind of like a surprise, that's for sure.
Well, that's good for you, man. I mean, like I said, I found you on Facebook a few years later, and I've been following you on Facebook, obviously. And this is like really the first time we've spoken since our community days. And this is a little catch up. And hey, man, can you be on my podcast? You didn't say no, and here we are. And it's just catching up, and it's good, man. It's good to see you from where I met you to what you're doing now. Your video nomination, and you're succeeding. You're going forward in life. That's good. That's good to see. Like I see, like when I see people that I met that I've seen in jail, and they're doing good for themselves too. And like I said in the past, it's like when I went to get my felony expunged, my lawyer backed me up, dude. Let us know tomorrow. And she told the judge, it's like, because the probation officer didn't want to expunge it, dude. She was being stubborn, and
wow.
So my lawyer was like, wait a minute, this man has done everything society has asked of him to do. He's done his anger management, he's done his parenting skills, he's done his parenting classes, he's done everything society has asked him to do, and you don't want to grant him his expungement? Like, if a judge in a different courtroom can give him full custody of his kids, why can't you give him this expunge his felony? And
right.
the pretty much the judge looked at the probation officer and like, well, and the probation officer like, well, I got nothing. So I walked out of there with the win.
Sir, man, congratulations on that.
I walked out of there with the win, dude. So it's like, now it's like, you ever been convicted of a felony? No. No.
Like, nope.
Nope. And it's funny because I was filling out some paperwork a few months ago, and I started chuckling. My wife's like, "What? What's wrong?" I'm like, "It's asking me if I was ever been convicted of a felony." And this is
now you can say no.
This is the first time in a long time, in 14 years, that I can say no.
That's fucking awesome, man. That's what's up, man. Hell yeah.
Well, buddy, I normally do about 45 minutes to an hour, but I know I was having some technical issues earlier. I know you have a date, even though you're not supposed to have a date. It's already, I've had you past the time frame that you were supposed to take off. So I'll do thank you for taking the time to sit here thank you for making the time to sit here with me and talking to me for a little bit, catching up a little bit, and keep doing what you're doing, bro. Keep going forward, keep doing your music videos. And if you ever need a an extra in the background or somebody to hold the camera, let me know. I'm here.
Yeah, man, of course, man. Thank you again for having me on the podcast. I know it's been years since we've talked or whatever, but I feel like we picked up right where we left off, almost as if no time has passed. They say, like, when you meet somebody or you're really good friends with somebody, years could go by, but good friends pick up where they left off. Now I'm happy for you, man, because from you having no job, doing community service, to having your job, having your kids, man, it's like it's dope, man. It's dope to see you out here happy, doing what you're doing, and then. And yeah, man, I mean, I think you could be a pretty good actor, bro. So I mean, like, let me know in the comments or whatever if you guys think Andres my tocayo should be an actor. So I mean, I think that'll be a pretty dope development, man.
I'll let you know if I want to be in the background.
For sure, man.
All right, bud.
But yeah, man. Thanks again for having me, man. Thank y'all for tuning in.
All right, bud. And like I end every podcast, buddy, thank you for riding with me.
All right, bro. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.